So, Karl, today we're going to be talking about password security and two-step authentication. So I think we might need to start with a little bit around why is this such a big deal? What is password security?
Well, password security, as everyone should know, because if you to watch this video online, you would have had to use some sort of password to get online, right? So password security is everyone has it. You need it to access everything from your internet banking to actually getting money out of a money machine or anything. So it's really easy to go with really crappy, easy passwords to remember, which make them easier to hack, right? So
are we talking about those passwords like mum123 and...
I'm talking about passwords that are just called password, like that kind of people, right? So password security is really important to us because we work online. We're a remote team, so we have lots of online content that we access, and we have clients, so we have to have real strong security. So in 2019, we're revamping all our content, making sure that we're more secure. So we thought, well, let's share our insights when we did our review and what we did to improve everything and make it more secure, because getting hacked sucks, right?
Yeah, getting hacked does suck. Karl, have you ever been hacked?
I haven't been hacked for a very long time. So the last time, I've only been hacked once. Okay, twice. I'll share both. This is one of them was 20 years ago, but it was pretty fun, and I'll share that as well. So the first time, the last time I got hacked was on my World of Warcraft account. So this was when World of Warcraft first came out, and if you played it back in the day, like I said, 12 or 13 years ago, there was a lot of money made by people hacking an account and taking all the gold from it, and then on selling it to other people. So there was this whole black market where people would steal gold from a real person, go through, send it to their character, and then sell that gold to other players that wanted to get a head start, right? So I got a notification that, first of all, I tried to log in, I couldn't. And then I got a notification that my email address password had changed. So I tried to get in, I couldn't. And I went, I've got a backup email address. I'll go and check that. Went to check that, and then an email came through that changed. So what that told me was the person that was in the process of defeating one of my emails and then using that to defeat the next layer of my emails pieces as they were going through it. So, and they'd hacked my World of Warcraft account. So all this drama, and it's like really made me realize, stop having the same freaking password on everything, because once you got one, he just went and did the next one, right? So that was like 12, 13 years ago, and it was the first one. And you feel powerless because, like, you go, how do they know how to do it? Why are they doing this? And then since they do it for a job, they know what to change, and they know how to do as much damage and how making it hard to revert. So I had to do
Exactly. Yeah, and in these days, we've got machine learning. So quite often, it's just a computer program going through and trying every single version of a particular password on an account to get in, and that's how the sort of big hacks can happen. It's you've mentioned something about using the same password for lots of different accounts. So what are the dangers of sort of having that one go-to password?
Or how I explained it, right? Got one, tried it on one, somehow discovered I had another email address, and then just use that. And then...
Yeah, so password, and then password 123, and then password 1234.
Yeah, there's lots of ways of having bad passwords, I guess, but having the same one for multiple things increases the threat, right? So all you need to have is one account get compromised, and all your accounts are compromised. So even if you have a really great one single password and use it for everything, well, the threat is that you're
still increasing your risk.
The amount of times you accidentally type in your password in the wrong area, or you could be on just a website. And I've heard stories where hackers have just cloned a bank site, so made it look exactly like a bank site. So you go on there, type in your password, think it's fine, and then just says, we're unavailable, we can't work, come back in, whatever. But they just got your details, right? Like, and that's it. You wouldn't even know. And there's lots of horror
stuff. Scary stuff.
Lots of horror stories.
I've had we probably don't want to get too kind of dramatic about it, but the point being that the risk is real and it does happen. It happens regularly.
And just all the stories that I'm sharing with you happened in the past, and Your banking has got smarter. Everyone's got smarter. You would have noticed that if anything suspicious that happens on any email address accounts, you get an alert from Google. So the systems are way smarter now, but it doesn't stop being smart about how you deal with your passwords.
And I got hacked over summer. So my Netflix account got hacked. Now, probably a little bit guilty, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are in the same boat, where I've got a few family members on my Netflix account. So it's one of those passwords that you quite often like plugging into a smart TV. You might be logging in different TVs around the place. So I did a lot of traveling last year, and a lot of the hotel rooms now have got smart TVs where you can log into your Netflix account. Somewhere along the line, my Netflix account got hacked. There was someone in there, and I only got alerted because they tried to change the password that my Netflix account actually belonged to. So once they're in, they've effectively got access to my credit card details, they've got access to my personal details, and if they'd successfully changed the password, they would have had control of the entire account. Now, it might sound really sort of simple, you just stop paying for it, change account, but because it's linked to all your personal details, that's where it can be quite dangerous. And then again, if you're using the same password for a whole lot of other personal accounts, then you're in real trouble there.
Yeah, and remember, like if it's a Netflix account, it's attached to your email address. So now they know your email address, so there's a different ways that they can look at potentially getting your email account details. And if you have the same password for your Netflix and your Gmail account or whatever account, well, they've got that as well. So
yeah, it's a really slippery slope.
Yeah, and I think the real risk, because I had a similar experience with Netflix as well, is you're dealing with a TV, so you don't want to put a 12 character with wiggly lines and capitals, and like it's really hard to do and takes ages, right? So you're going to have potentially a weaker password, but there's a few different hacks that you can do to make things a bit easier when you're choosing your passwords. One of them is don't use a password, use a passphrase. So there are a lot of options where you can, instead of just typing in one word, type in I space think space Karl is awesome, right? Like whatever character's amount of length. Having a phrase is easy to remember, and what makes a password difficult to crack isn't what you have, is how many characters it is. So having a phrase is just naturally longer than just one word.
And then if you add those sort of things like spaces or an exclamation mark or something like that,
those all add to the characters. The exclamation mark is great because it adds, instead of you're not just dealing with the alphabet now, you now have special characters. And that's why you'll often get asked to use a lowercase or a capital letter, because the moment you have a lowercase letter, that means every single character that's lowercase is now included. So instead of just having capitals, lowercase, and special, you got them all. So exponentially makes your password stronger. And again, that's probably why most places make sure you try to have like a number or a capitalized letter as well. But a phrase is just easier to remember. That's the key thing, right? Because we fall into the trap of just using simple passwords when just having a longer phrase will be easier to remember.
So I've been learning a little bit about improving my data online security, and one thing that I've been reading quite a bit about is two-step authentication. So for those of you who've never heard of two-step authentication, basically what it means is that when you log in to a piece of software or program and it has two-step authentication, what it means is it's going to contact you on a different method, usually via text message, and give you a code to log in. Now, the beauty of this is if someone's trying to hack you and say your email, for example, you're going to get a text message saying someone's trying to change your password. So it can add that extra layer of security. What do you think of two-step authentication? And
it's basically a no-brainer, like especially with your more important like banking details and your core email addresses. There's no real, like, I don't know many people that don't have their cell phone close, and that's the easiest way to check them, depending on what you do, whether it's Google authentication systems or even if it's just a text that sends through a number. Just an extra layer, right? And they can be smart where instead of having to do it every time you log in, it can say, well, for the next 3 hours it's unlocked or whatever. So you're not having to do it every single time you go and check. And there's different ways of making it so it's not so inconvenient. But I personally think it's pretty much a no-brainer because you basically reduce your chance of being hacked to so low that it's not worth the hackers trying to do it. It's that old adage, right? Where burglars will skip your house if your house just looks more secure, right? If you've got a guard dog sign, compared to windows open, you're going to be more likely to get hit. They're just going to be running their AI piece or their scripts, going through the net and trying to find the easy marks. If you've just got your house in order with two-step authentication, you're 99.99999% safe. So they're just going to leave you alone unless everyone's hackable, right? So therefore, but you're super safe.
So the new year, it's a good time to sort of think about data security, and we often do a bit of a sort of a stock take on our lives at the end of the year and the start of the year, and we think about our health and our fitness and all those other things. So maybe our personal data security needs to be on that kind of checklist. So if you are someone like me that might have quite a few accounts that have passwords of password 123 or something similar to that, what are some simple things that I can do to improve my data security?
I think the first step, I think this is a good time to introduce a website that will help you kind of figure out how strong your current setup is, because it's you might have a perfectly fine password, but how about check? Because you might already need to go through and make some changes. There's a site called Have I Been Pwned, and it's a guy who's made a website that's gathered all the hacked, gathered up all the hacked acknowledgements from companies, databases, everything that's out there, and put into one site, so you can see if your email address is attached to a hack that's gone on recently. I'll give you guys a quick demo. Sweet. So the site's called Have I Been Pwned? And it's just nerd talk for Have I Been Owned? And it just checks to see if your email's been breached. I've got an example of, actually was it King Karl at yahoo.com. This is one of my first email addresses that I got. This was a while ago. And does a search and it says that it's had 14 breaches and then gives you a list. So in 2013, Adobe was breached, 1,500 accounts were. So if you had an account back 7 years ago, potentially email address and password's been compromised. Then gives a whole lot of lists of different things that could have been done. Oh, even my MySpace was compromised.
You're really showing your age with this list, by the way.
I know, right? I wear like a badge that I got. I was hacked back before it was cool to be hacked. And look, this is Zynga. This guy's, they did all the Facebook stuff, Facebook games as well. Well, it's a new one. Ooh, September 2019. These guys probably, wow, that's interesting. New hacks always come out. Didn't even know about that one. So this is a good example. This is pretty much saying that this email address has been compromised. I really need to go and change my password with a decent one, straight up. So this is a good step to see if you need to. Another one is, this one is like, you have to make your own decisions of whether you trust this site, but you can also type in a password to see what your previous passwords and how bad they were. I'm going to use the one that I first used when I first set up my first account, my email account, and it has appeared 129 times online. So I thought it was kind of a cool password. It's obviously not, because
not quite as original as you thought.
Yes, you thought, right?
What is password 123? Put password 123 in there.
Okay. 121,000. So yeah, it's better than password 123. How's password? 3 million times.
Yeah, we could play on this all day, but I think people get the point. Yeah, so stronger passwords using a combination of capital letters, smaller letters, numbers, any kind of exclamation marks and things like that are going to increase that size of your password. Yeah. Yeah.
So coming down to my recommendations was make password phrases, because they're easier to remember. The other thing is you can use what's called a password vault, which is software that encrypts everything, and you don't have to remember one password, but you have to super keep it secure. The example on this website, they give you one pass. We use Dashlane, and basically it means that you can generate a new, different, unique password for every single site that you go to, and then it kind of keeps it for you. So you don't have to remember it, it saves it for you. and you can use your mobile. But it's kind of an advanced thing, but I do suggest that it does make things a lot easier to be more secure. If that is in your bag, try and start up some phrases. Longer is better. And try and avoid the real common ones. Actually, I have a list of the worst ones. And the worst ones are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. If you have anything that resembles these, please go and change your password, because you're gonna get hacked. Because the first ones, the hacker will try.
Awesome. And we might provide some links to those sites as well down below. So thanks, Karl. Thanks for sharing your insights today around sort of password security and using that two-step authentication. Hope this is enough to get people sort of a wee bit motivated to just have a think about their own cybersecurity and their own personal data safety, and maybe make it a bit stronger.
I have one more bonus tip, and this is kind of goes against everything we've been told over the years. It's now smarter and safer to have a little password notebook by your computer that you can write everything in. And the reason for this is, like, back in the days, it used to be someone sneaking into your office or whatever, copying your password. But that's no longer the real security risk anymore. The real security risk are all these AI-driven scripts that are going through trying to collect everyone's password. It's actually safer to write it down on a piece of paper if that's the thing that works for you. So don't think you have to go for the technology. It's actually simpler now to have it on a notepad that you hide somewhere, and you can use that to help track your passwords.
Thanks very much.
No problem. See you.